Every instinct you have about how the world works is a localized illusion. Our brains are hardwired for Earth, a highly specific environment where gravity predictably pulls objects down and air consistently fills our lungs. But when you look at the night sky, you realize that everything we consider normal is just a tiny grain of sand, adrift in a vastly hostile cosmic desert. The statistical reality is even more jarring. All the visible matter we have ever seen, touched, or measured, every planet, star, and galaxy, accounts for a microscopic 5% of the universe. This chart illustrates the scale of our ignorance. The remaining 95% of the universe is a completely invisible void composed of dark matter and dark energy that we cannot perceive. Leaving our atmosphere reveals that the physics we see on Earth are just a small, stable exception to a much more complex universal system that operates on scales we can barely imagine. Take a simple mechanical action like jumping. On Earth, a decent leap might get you 1.5 feet off the ground. Apply that exact same energy on the Moon, and the weaker gravitational pull launches you 10 feet into the air. Without gravity constantly compressing your spine downward, your skeletal structure actively expands. An astronaut spending a few months in orbit will physically stretch, returning to Earth about 2 inches taller than when they left. Even basic digestion fails. In zero gravity, the liquids and gases inside your stomach have no way to naturally separate. This means the mechanical process of a simple burp becomes physically impossible. Crying is equally strange. If an astronaut sheds a tear, surface tension takes over. The water will pool into a thick, stinging bubble directly over the eye, but without gravity, it will never actually fall. To survive this, we rely on a $15 million spacesuit to provide artificial pressure. Without it, the human body fails catastrophically. You would lose consciousness in 15 seconds and die within 2 minutes. Our biology is strictly incompatible with the cosmos. We require millions of dollars of advanced engineering just to survive a few minutes outside the safety of our own atmosphere. Mundane objects also break down. A standard ballpoint pen is useless in orbit because it relies entirely on gravity to pull the ink down to the nib. Then there is cold welding. If two clean, identical pieces of metal touch in a vacuum, their atoms share electrons and they permanently fuse into a single solid object, as if they were always one piece. Sound itself disappears. Because space lacks an acoustic medium like air to carry vibrations, you could scream at a companion floating right next to you and be met with absolute silence. The vacuum strips mundane objects in our physical senses of their expected behaviors, rendering our earthly intuition completely useless. These environmental extremes scale up to entire planets. Saturn is massive, yet its overall density is so low that if you could find a large enough cosmic ocean, the entire gas giant would float on the surface like a balloon. Our concepts of geography are similarly dwarfed. On Mars, the Olympus Mons volcano rises 24 kilometers high, 3 times the height of Mount Everest. Even what we consider precious changes. 40 light-years away, the exoplanet 55 Cancri E is a world roughly twice the size of Earth, made largely of solid diamond. Finally, consider a neutron star. Its matter is so highly compressed that a single spoonful weighs as much as the entire human population combined. Space takes the concepts we know, weight, height, and value, and subjects them to environmental conditions that produce terrifying, absurd results. The hostility of these conditions is absolute. If you placed a piece of the sun the size of a pinhead on Earth, its heat would be lethal to a person standing 145 kilometers away. Yet humanity has built the International Space Station, a sprawling laboratory moving at 15,500 miles per hour. It is the largest structure ever built to withstand the vacuum. By venturing into an environment without weather, we have achieved a strange kind of permanence. Because there is no wind to scatter dust and no water to erode rock, physical marks do not fade. The boot prints left during the Apollo missions remain undisturbed in the lunar soil. Without an atmosphere to wash them away, these tracks will likely last for millions of years. We are continuing this legacy today. The wheels on the Chandrayaan-3 rover were specifically designed to stamp the ISRO logo and the Ashoka Chakra into the Moon's surface, creating a permanent signature in the dust. The cosmos may challenge our biology and defy our earthly intuition, But our presence there ensures that even as we struggle to survive the vacuum, our history is now etched permanently into the stars.